One's a Chiefs fan, the other's a Pats fan, and together they make Primetime Dimes.
What is up, my fellow football fanatics? Welcome back to episode 4 of Primetime Dimes, your weekly source for surviving the off-season and breaking down the headlines during the season. I'm one of your hosts, Megan, and alongside me is Chelsea.
Hi.
So normally I'd let you start with the conversation, however you'd like it, but honestly, it's your birthday and counter to what you're supposed to do, I'm not going to let you do that. I want to know how's your day been? Has it been treating you well? Good birthday thus far?
Yeah, it's been my second birthday in a pandemic, so not too many things to do, but it was a really good day for me. Got to see my mom, went over to her house to have some dinner with her and my sister and my stepdad. I got to meet my sister's boyfriend. Shout out Riley.
Do we like him?
Pretty cool. Yeah, we like him.
Good.
But yeah, it was a really good day. Now I'm here podcasting with you, so it's nice to get to see you on my birthday.
Yeah, it's nice to see you as well. I wish it wasn't virtually, but you know what? One day we're going to look back at the last year and a half and be like, oh, that's why I became so awkward. Because
just so used to being inside and not talking to people.
Yeah, I legitimately do not know how I'm going to be a person, and hopefully I get vaccinated in the next month.
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
What do I normally do with my body?
Yeah, so were you able to do anything cool to kind of still celebrate your birthday virtually?
Oh my gosh, yes. So I told my friends I wanted to play, I've always wanted to have a Clue party or a murder mystery party and dress up as the characters. So me and some of my friends did virtual Clue, and she made the board game using a Google PowerPoint doc. So it was a shared document. So she made the board the background picture, and then she had all of the little pieces you could move. So one person moved it moved on everyone's screen.
Oh, that's super cool.
So yeah, it was really it worked out really well. It was really fun. I actually ended up winning. I played against two engineers and a theater major student, and I still won.
Sometimes the dice roll your way, or the cards.
I did. It was I got lucky. I got just a little bit lucky, and I had a little bit of knowledge. So it was just a little bit of both.
Clutch.
But
That's always clutch.
I want to do it again. It was so much fun.
Oh, I'd play some virtual stuff with you.
Oh, yeah.
I just bought Gloomhaven. I just got it from work. So it's this giant board game, and I shit you not, it has some 1,700 pieces associated with it, and it's just online. It's a D&D campaign that you can run between 1 and 4 players. And it's really cool. But maybe next time you're down, I'll show you it, because it's 30 minutes per player. So it's not a long game, but it's quite a bit, and people at the shop where I work just love it. It's never on my shelves, so it was really nice that it was on the shelf when I came back to work and was able to snag it. But we're here for football, right? And there has been some football.
Draft weekend, birthday weekend, and draft weekend. It was the best birthday weekend ever.
Yeah, it was crazy. And on top of that,
it was one of the craziest drafts I've seen. At least the first round was pretty wild for me, in the past few years I've seen.
Oh, absolutely. And then it was not even 20, I think it was 48 to 24 hours before the draft, we started hearing rumors that Aaron Rodgers was going to be traded, or was going to retire, or who knows, he just wants out of the Packers organization, or someone said something along those lines.
So he had first it came out that he had told someone within the organization that he doesn't want to be there anymore. And then I think that the organization confirmed that these things were true. And now I think that they don't want to trade him, as far as I've read. It's that they want to keep him. But now we're going back to where we were, Deshaun Watson. Why would you want to keep someone that doesn't want to stay there? I mean, Deshaun Watson is a completely different situation. But in that aspect, like, why do you want to keep someone that doesn't want to stay? I mean, I understand he has a contract and they don't want to trade him, so like he kind of has to live it out. But the extension he signed only goes until 2023. So will we see him in Green Bay after that? I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, and then like he had mentioned, or I guess the latest tweet that I had read from an NFL insider mentions that he was contemplating or is potentially contemplating retiring altogether. And it's obviously so he can go off and host Jeopardy, right? Like that's what he wants to do.
I would become a weekly or daily. I don't know when they air daily. It's daily.
I have no idea.
Would become a Jeopardy stan if he was hosting it, because the guest one he did was hilarious.
he crushed it.
Yeah, so he definitely has talent beyond football, which is good to know for him, that he can have a career as a game show host once he retires.
Yeah, it was also really funny that at one point one of the questions he had to ask the contestants, the answer was himself, and I was just like awkward.
Nobody knew.
Awkward.
And then someone got like a Celtics question right the next round. He was like, "Oh, but you knew that one."
Yep. Classic. No, yeah. What do you think happens with him? Does he retire? Does he play for the Packers, or does he get traded?
I don't know, because there was it was the Broncos that had some sort of deal they were trying to get to him before the draft. So when the Broncos traded up, I was like, oh, are they gonna do something for get a player, get a QB or to replace Rodgers? That was my first thought, was, oh, well, they're probably getting someone to replace him because he said he wants out. I don't think they ended up taking a corner instead.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I could see him retiring. I don't want to see him retire, but if he does retire, I'd like to see it at Green Bay. I don't want to see him go somewhere for a year or two and then, just not be as good as he was on Green Bay and then just decide to leave.
I've been kind of hemming and hawing about this one because there's no question. There is no question Aaron Rodgers still has football in him. He has football left in him. He can clearly put up the numbers. He, was the MVP, and playing quarterback for the Packers, that's a difficult deal, and he did take over after one of the greats. But if history has shown us anything recently, which I understand those two words completely opposite, you have Tom Brady leaving his longtime home and actually succeeding. You had Peyton Manning leaving his home and succeeding. Now, there is controversy when it comes to Manning because a lot of people say he only won that Super Bowl due to the defense. I'd agree, but he still won a Super Bowl. So it's success. And then, Brett Favre, when he left the Packers to go to the Vikings, he still was fine. It's like there's been recently a huge narrative that once you leave, your career falls off of a cliff. And it hasn't been that recently because teams are building around these quarterbacks when they come. And I don't know if I agree with the narrative that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have weapons in his offense. He does. He has Devontae Adams. He has Aaron Jones. I get it. It would be nice to see the Packers start drafting offensive players. I agree.
And they did though. They drafted Amari Rodgers from Clemson, and I really hope that Aaron Rodgers stays long enough to play with him, because I want to see that. I want to see that the magic that they can have together, because Amari Rodgers is great. So I'm really happy that they drafted him.
Yeah.
But hoping that Aaron Rodgers stays.
Yeah, I just think if he goes to another team, it might be a better fit, and we might see Aaron Rodgers ball the fuck out. Like he already has been balling for sure. But I love Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. I love to give all of my friends that are Packers fans shit about it. Screw you, Pete. But Aaron Rodgers is a hell of a quarterback, and I don't want him out of this league yet. It's too exciting.
No.
At any point, you could throw a bomb,
He's like
70
one
yards.
of the few quarterbacks I trust to throw a Hail Mary.
Yeah,
like
implicitly.
like if they're like, why don't we do it? I'd be like, yes, I trust you. Not many quarterbacks like, and I, he probably has that faith from himself too, that he knows he can do it. So like most times the Hail Mary is just like well, let's just go for it because we don't have anything else to lose. But I can trust him to like get it there.
Exactly. So with that, obviously the only way Rodgers really sticks around is going to be if they build or get him more offensive players. And typically you would do that through the draft. Now, they didn't do a phenomenal job over the last 10 years of drafting offensive players for Rodgers. So that's obviously a place for improvement. But besides from the Packers, let's talk about teams that definitely improved themselves through this draft. Honestly, we can start right at the beginning of the draft. Anyone who was going to land Trevor Lawrence was going to get better.
Not even Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. You have the number 1 quarterback from Clemson and the number 1 running back from Clemson going on to the same team. Like that's a powerhouse. That is a double threat. And they are going to like dig themselves out of a grave this year with those two, as long as they can protect them.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. And then
I heard you go, and I was like, she's gonna say it.
Yeah, and still they are rookies. Like I'm not saying that Trevor Lawrence doesn't deserve all the credit and all this wonder he's getting. He's still a rookie quarterback going into a rookie coach or first year coach is scheme in an area that has not won a lot recently.
Yeah, there's a lot of things up in the air for Jacksonville right now, but I feel like all of their fans are probably feeling pretty good right now.
Oh yeah,
at least all of their picks. So
yeah, I can't wait. I cannot wait for the season.
I think this is the first time in like my football watching history that I can say I'm excited to watch Jacksonville play. Maybe when they had Minshew. I mean, I've always been a Minshew stan. I love him so much. But I think I think like since Minshew, I think this is the most exciting thing that's happened for Jacksonville.
Yeah. And what do you expect from Lawrence right off the bat? Like I'm not a Clemson fan. I'm not really a college football fan. I'm working on that and I'm learning, but I haven't had a chance to see much from Lawrence besides from those big games. I haven't seen him have to grind or go through some of these games that are boring games for him to play in. So what is a reasonable expectation for me to have of Lawrence when I watch him play in September?
I have no doubt that he's going, like, I want to say I'm confident that he's just, going to go in and do amazing because of what I've seen, but he's shifting to a completely different program, this is a different league, right? So like you can only expect him to maybe fumble and falter at the beginning. We know he's had the playbook for a while too, so I don't know if that's going to help with him like being able to catch up as quickly. But like he is someone who can read the field well. He is someone who can run. He is someone who can get out of sticky situations. So I don't think he'll have a problem. I think it's going to be tough for him because he's not on a team that's producing number ones every year. So I think that there's going to be a challenge for him, but I think the beauty in the season is going to be watching him overcome the challenges that he faces in his first year in the NFL. I want to see him break all the rookie records. Yeah. I would love to see that, but there's no doubt that there is going to be something's going to happen that's going to, I feel like it's going to just be a little bit of a rough start. Maybe it's just because of all the hype around it. I'm like, it's going to get all hyped up and then he's going to do something mediocre and everyone's going to like kick him down for it. But like, you have to remember, he's like, this is a big transition for them, especially with the amount of weight that he's carrying with his name coming from Clemson. So, I mean, I think he'll feel a little comfortable having one of his teammates on there as well. So I hope they do good, but I understand if, there is a little bit of, fumble at the beginning with him.
Oh man, I want the Jags back in the the playoffs.
Yeah,
I
like I
could
can
go
see
for a
them maybe
little
having like the same situation as the Bengals. Like they did really good this year, except for the fact that Joe Burrow got hurt. So
Oh, we'll get there later.
as long as we can avoid, or as long as Jacksonville can avoid Trevor Lawrence getting hurt, I think they'll be okay this year.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to watch him play. It's going to be fun.
Heck yeah.
And I'm only excited to watch him play because I want to know if he lives up to the hype. I'm all about the hype. I'm good. I'll ride.
He lived up to it in college. Like,
exactly.
There's no question about that. So I think that's what everyone's going to be looking for is the like, can he live up to the talk? And it's like we know he has in college, but nobody's seen him yet in the NFL. So we'll see what happens come September.
Yeah, I want to say that it's always fun watching generational talents come up or come down the pipeline because it's like,
because we're gonna see him for years.
Is this right?
He's in the league for a long time.
we hope and we assume, and every measure tells us yes, but he could bust, and it's. Yeah. I hope not.
That's scary.
I hope not because like he's been fun to watch from what I've seen. Now going from a guy that even I had heard about over the last 4 years, him coming up, to a guy I had never heard about before 2 weeks ago. Zach Wilson, new QB for the New York Jets. I have no input on this one besides from I'm glad he's in my division for now. This might come back to bite my Patriots ass, but for now, sure, let's go with the dude that just suddenly flew up the projection. Yes, I understand he's smart. Yes, I understand he can work through his progressions.
Can they protect him?
Oh, God, no. No. I've watched this team fail at building around a quarterback since 2008 when they had Mark Sanchez and the butt fumble.
Let's pour one out for the Jets now.
So, yeah, I really don't have much to say about Zach Wilson besides from we knew that this was going to be the pick. We knew
He was number 2 all along, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with him in the Jets. So I really can't say for certain what will happen other than a very likely Zach Wilson injury this season.
I hope not.
I hope not. I really hope not. It sucks to see the rookies get injured so quickly.
Yeah.
Especially because like in college, they do have preventative rules. Like what I know, for example, is you only need to get 1 foot in bounds instead of 2. So it prevents them from, rolling their ankles before they even get the chance to play in the NFL. So that's another thing too, is like there are those little changes in rules as well. The rules are not the same for college and the NFL. So watching how they adapt to that. I mean, you will see college players try and get the 2 toes in because they will eventually
you got to practice
exactly
muscle memory.
But if they can't, they can only get 1 in and it's safer for them. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Zach Wilson. And then, we have Trey Lance, which I actually, when we were watching this, I called it. I was like, they're going to pick Trey Lance because I think this was the turning point in the night between Trey Lance and Mac Jones. This was when it was like, which one?
Yeah. The one thing I will say, and this does jump ahead, but I would not have expected, if you had asked me before the draft, I would not have expected Mac Jones to fall so far.
Yeah. Agreed. I was shocked.
I'm good with Trey Lance to the 49ers. It makes sense. He is a dynamic player for one of the best quarterback focused coaches in the league in Kyle Shanahan. It makes sense. And Trey Lance with Kyle Shanahan makes sense because they can have a Andy Pat Mahomes type relationship. And that's what Coach Kyle definitely was looking for there. Like he wanted a Pat Mahomes-esque player. And that's what he's got.
A Pat Mahomes player.
I can tell you absolutely that is not what Bill Belichick wants with the New England Patriots.
Obviously.
So not everyone.
I don't care what Bill Belichick wants.
I mean, he brings rings.
So yeah, no. Number 3, it was it was between Trey Lance
Yeah.
and Mac Jones. San Francisco, before the draft, had traded up for the third pick, got Trey Lance. So it looks like they got what they wanted. And then I think we knew Kyle Pitts was gonna go right after that. Like
Amazing.
if it wasn't third, it was fourth. So he's going tight end going to Atlanta Falcons. He was from the Florida Gators. Love this guy. Very excited to see him play. He's going to definitely bring the Eagles, lol, the Falcons up a notch. There are too many bird teams in this league.
Absolutely. I will say, for the fans or for the listeners that aren't necessarily NFL fans, remember Kyle Pitts' name. He will be that tight end, all pro, someone that you could use his name to likely impress whoever you're hanging out with.
He's very comparable to, they've been comparing him to Travis Kelce
and Gronk.
Gronk. So I'm really excited to see him break some rookie records this year too. It's gonna happen for sure.
He's gonna be a big one. But you want to know who, if we're talking rookie records, the one who I'm wondering how many he might break is going to be Ja'Marr Chase, wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. Instead of protecting Joe Burrow with a predicted perennial all-pro,
let's just give him his old teammate back.
Yeah, like, I understand that Joe Burrow went up to his coach and to his GM and said, "Please get me Ja'Marr Chase. We can work wonders." Yeah, he went to bat for his ex-teammate. There's no denying their chemistry. They both played together at LSU, and they both won a national championship together at LSU. They have magic in their roots and their connection.
If LSU didn't lose, I think they lost 17 players after that championship.
Yeah.
Like, they lost almost half of the starting players that played in the national championship game that they won against Clemson. If they hadn't lost that many players, I think they would have been a lot better this year, and maybe Ja'Marr Chase would have gone even higher than 5. I don't know if it was possible to go higher than 5 for a wide receiver, but I don't know if maybe they did better this year, that he would have been talked about a lot more. But yeah, he was on the championship winning team. He had a great season despite LSU's troubles after losing all those players, and I'm excited to see him on the Bengals. Now Burrow has Chase and Higgins to throw to. Higgins was drafted in last year's draft from Clemson, and he's been doing great. Like, he has been getting he started starting towards the end of the season. So I can see them definitely being like 1 and 2 for sure.
Yeah, my one thing is that it doesn't matter how good your wide receivers are or how skilled they are if you don't have time to throw the ball.
Exactly. And that's where Cincinnati fucked up.
Yeah, why didn't you protect him? Like, we will talk about
else they picked up. I don't know if they picked up someone else later on that would protect him, because I honestly didn't pay too much attention to the other rounds this year because it was my birthday weekend. But first round, Ja'Marr Chase, good move. Was it the best move? I don't think so, especially for their team. But nonetheless, I think they're happy that they have Ja'Marr Chase.
Oh, absolutely. It was just my first concern was he's not going to have enough time to throw and take advantage of his skilled position players. But going from one teammate to another teammate, we have Jalen Waddle, another wide receiver, going to the Miami Dolphins. And let me tell you, I thought that was going to be Devontae Smith, and I was kind of shocked, not overly shocked, but like we were watching it live together, and when Waddle came across, I was like, what? And at that point, that's when I thought the Patriots were going to get or try and go after Smith, because I didn't think they had a chance at a quarterback. Little did I know Mac Jones was going to just slip into our pockets. Excellent.
Jalen Waddle, from another player from Alabama. He's much more comparable to Tyreek Hill than Devontae Smith is.
Yeah. So
I think that might have played a factor into a lot of scouts' decision, or if like people putting him over Devontae Smith, just because like he is a very explosive player. He is the long ball. Like he's like if you like if he went to Green Bay and you had Aaron Rodgers throwing to him, like it'd be caught every time. If that was the Hail Mary pass, like it's over.
And he gets to team back up with Tua, who was his old quarterback. So yeah, another ex-teammate, I guess, reunited, and that's.
There were a lot of those. This from they drafted last year and this year, and now they're reunited. So I think it's like really interesting to see that like there are teams that are like taking from the same bunch, like taking from the same teams. And I mean, if they work together, why wouldn't you, right? So
yeah. And then at number 7, we have that offensive tackle who I think Cincy should have gone with. The Bengals should have drafted. I can't say his name properly, and I apologize. It's Penei Sewell.
Penei Sewell. I don't know how to say it either. Apologies.
I'm unsure, unfortunately.
Great player though.
Oh, great player. Dude's gonna light it up for the Lions. But that is who the Bengals should have taken.
Yeah, agreed.
At number 5.
But good for the Lions, though. Glad they got them because they definitely need some protection for Goff because he's there now. So
and then
we'll see how that goes.
And then we had our first defensive player taken off of the board, and J.C. Horn, who's a cornerback for the Carolina Panthers. I hadn't seen much of his tape. I know he's a phenomenal CB. However, the one thing that I'm very happy about this pick was the Panthers needed to go and start building their defense. Their offense, while it's not high octane, high firing, it can't do much and it can't start excelling if it never gets the ball. And so it was time for the Panthers to kind of take that top-rated defenseman and start building a defense that allows their skilled players on offense, like Christian McCaffrey, who's their running back, who is really a Swiss Army knife. He's a jack of all trades, so calling him a running back isn't correct. So that was a nice one. And then we had the Denver Broncos also going CB.
They traded up, and I think that was when everyone thought that they were going to take a quarterback, and they ended up taking a cornerback instead. But still, I think that was a good move for them as well. And like you can never go wrong with like protection and defensive players. So especially like I feel like almost every team needs defensive players, you know. Like
and then Certain was great on tape. He was very fast. So get some speed on your defense. You have Von Miller over with the Broncos. He plays defense. So you have one high skilled, like highly intelligent defenseman in Von Miller, and then Certain's just super quick.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely really intelligent. I'll give him that. I'm comfortable saying that right off the bat. But he still has to acclimatize to the league. So defense always important, not as exciting for fans.
But those are the pieces. You can't win a Super Bowl without a good defense. So
exactly.
But yeah, and then the 10th pick first round.
This shook some things.
I think if you're an Eagles fan and you weren't happy about this, you don't know who this guy is, clearly. Devontae Smith, wide receiver from Alabama, the Heisman winner, national championship, going to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Reuniting with his ex-quarterback.
Reunited with Jalen Hurts. So exciting.
It's excellent.
The Eagles are looking good this year.
That was excellent. And then this started a whole chain reaction or a chain of events that may have screwed the Patriots, quote unquote, screwed the Patriots out of Justin Fields, or may have just saved my team from picking up a dud. We'll see. Time will tell. But because Philly drafted, I'm not sure if you read this, but if you did, I'm sorry, I'm going to repeat it. But
No.
because the Eagles drafted Devontae Smith,
Mhm.
the Giants traded their pick to the Bears at
Yep.
number 11,
Yep.
who then picked up quarterback Justin Fields from the Ohio State, I believe is what they tell me to say.
Yep.
But screw the Ohio State. And I have a lot of feelings, but I'm okay. It was just
So they've said after they drafted Justin Fields, because if you listen to our previous episodes when we talked about Andy Dalton, he got signed by the Bears, and they said that he would be the starter quarterback. And then they go ahead and draft a rookie quarterback and trade up for the rookie quarterback to number 11. And so after they did that, they went to social media and stated that they still
Whoops.
will be putting Andy Dalton as number 1.
Nope.
For how many games?
Nope.
I don't know. 1 or 2 maybe, but I don't see Andy Dalton being the starter there for a very long, like for the full season at all.
Honestly,
Especially now that you have Justin Fields.
Exactly. You drafted Justin Fields. He's your day one starter. I do not think Andy Dalton is starting in September.
Out of respect for Andy Dalton, I think they will let him start the first few games, and maybe he only plays like the first half and then they put on Justin Fields. But I think they will, because that's just like rude to just say we'll sign you and you can be the starter just to like flip it, because like who knows what Andy Dalton can go and do now, right? So like I don't know, maybe they just don't want to screw themselves over because they just got Andy Dalton. But I do believe they will let him start some games as they promised. I don't think he'll be the starter for the entire season though.
I don't think we have time for sentiment in a 17 game season. No, because Justin Fields brings you such a different dynamic, and you have to build a different offense. Nothing against Dalton. He's getting screwed in this situation.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I think you have to start Fields. You start him. It's the same reason why the Patriots are going to have to decide right off the bat if they're going to start Mac Jones or Cam Newton. You have to build such fundamentally different offenses. And you put Justin Fields in there, I think the Bears have a shot.
Yeah,
Da Bears.
Agree, but
I will take the Bears. We'll
I don't
see.
know. We're gonna see what happens, so it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. Before we hop into who our teams drafted throughout the entire draft, I did wanted to talk about Harris and Etienne, because I couldn't make up my mind as to who would go first. It was Harris. He ended up getting drafted, the first running back drafted to the Steelers. So it was a great move for the Steelers.
They got a dog.
Rafaela was very happy.
Oh.
And sweetest man ever. After he was drafted, he held a pizza party at the homeless shelter that he lived at once. So I thought that was really already showing that he is going to be a great player on and off the field. So I can't wait to see him join the NFL.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I thought Harris was going to go first, or like first between him and Etienne. And it was only because dynamically I thought Harris gave you more options, more of a James White type option. If you're a New England Patriots fan, James White and by proxy, I believe Harris are kind of your third down. Okay, yes, you're a running back, but if we need you to as an option route, as the okay, we're gonna see if you're free for a run. Okay, you're not free for a run. Go run a route, whatever route you would have predetermined in the snap. And he's just so efficient at it, and it's so handy. It's just so handy to have a reliable third down back. And nothing against Etienne. I think he will be a reliable third down back. I didn't see enough of it in the last couple. Playoff games really where I was watching it, but in his tape.
Oh yeah, and I've said it before too. Harris comes with the weight of coming from the Alabama program, which, as we've said, basically runs like an NFL program. So I think that it's like taking anyone from Alabama is just an easy decision if you have to decide, if especially if there's someone like Travis and Najee Harris who are just neck and neck. I think that's the weight of coming from a program where you're being coached by Nick Saban, one of the best college coaches maybe in history. I don't want to go that far and say it, but he's been the best coach in college in a very long time. And he's got many a wins under his belt. He's got many a players drafted under his belt, and he's created a huge dynasty there. So it's that weight coming with him. I'm not surprised that he went first. But then, moving into the Clemson players drafted, because Etienne was drafted after Harris. He is going to, as we said before, he's going to Green Bay. Hopefully
No,
we'll get to
he's
see
going
him.
to Jacksonville.
Oh, sorry. Oh my God, I'm thinking of Amari Rogers.
Yeah.
I'm having a brain
Etienne
fart
is
today.
going
Etienne is
to.
going to Jacksonville. He's being reunited with Trevor Lawrence. They're not going to have to be separated. I'm really happy about seeing them two play together.
Yeah,
And
they'll
then
be
I guess
good.
I'll just jump into Amari Rogers, wide receiver, going to, because I was like thinking of 85, and I was like, wait, Travis Etienne got drafted like 2 after.
Yeah.
In the first round. So Amari Rogers got drafted in the second round. He's going to Green Bay. Really excited to see him play with Aaron Rodgers to Rogers.
Potentially.
That's going to be some great marketing for Green Bay. If they don't take advantage of that,
Rogers squared.
Rogers squared.
Yeah.
And then we also have Jackson Cameron, offensive tackle. He's going to the Bengals, and it was such a wholesome moment to watch that happen, because he is now returning to his hometown, Cincinnati.
Aww.
He had a huge crowd with them. They were all so excited, and I think
That's
he's
awesome.
really excited to go play for them too. And they have Jamar Chase, so they have offensive tackle to keep Joe Burrow a little safe there. So yeah, there we go. There's your answer. They did take a offensive person.
Did you see the scar on Burrow's knee? It's bad. You go
It looks like a
and
worm.
protect him. Yeah, well, I mean,
It
his
looks
knee.
like a giant worm.
Like the thing is, it wasn't a typical ACL tear. It's your ACL, MCL, all the adjoining ligaments. All of these might mean nothing to our listeners, but the medical scientist in me is just like, oh, his knee had to be rebuilt, and I hate that. And the scar tissue.
Yeah.
Okay, you protect him. You don't want him hit hard all the time. And he was on
can't take
track
another
to be
hit like that.
sacked. This third most in the league. Like, he was on track to be sacked 50 some times in a season.
Jesus.
Too many times. That boy's not going to last long.
They have an offensive tackle now, so we'll see how that pans out for them. And then the only other Clemson player, because they had 5 in total, get drafted. Cornell Powell, wide receiver, drafted at 181, coming to the Chiefs. I love seeing my Clemson players come over. I think it's funny too, because we just let go of Sammy Watkins, who we drafted from Clemson when he first came in, and now we're replacing him with another wide receiver from Clemson.
Yeah, that's
so
hilarious.
I thought that was kind of funny. And then do you want to talk about your Pats players new Pats players that got drafted?
I mean, to me, the only one that really matters is the quarterback. We've replaced Tom Brady, quote unquote, we've replaced Tom Brady finally with the future quarterback, and that's Mac Jones from Alabama. So trusted from Nick Saban. He's your prototypical stay-at-home quarterback. He is Tom Brady, just younger, technically more athletic than when Tom Brady was drafted.
Can we talk about his walk to the stage?
Dude, he looked like Bill Belichick when Bill was running to the draft.
Side by side of him and Bill.
Yeah.
Someone said he looked like someone in the restaurant who had to go to the bathroom. Someone put him walking beside Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Yeah.
Just this determined, I'm gonna go break up the school fight walk.
Yeah.
And then he didn't even stop to look at the hat. He was just hat on, walked right back out on stage.
Yeah.
What a gem.
Someone tweeted that he looked like a Karen looking for the manager, and I was like, yeah, that is what he was looking for. But I'm happy. Did I expect him to be available at number 15? Not at all.
No, his face throughout the draft, watching other people get drafted, I was my heart started breaking a little bit for him. But I'm thinking here, I mean, the longer it takes for you to get drafted, like the
The
better
better
of a team
team.
you go to. And he ended up on the
Yeah.
New England Patriots. And, he even said to the commissioner, like, don't tell anyone, but this is what I wanted. And I don't think he actually believed that until it actually happened. But because, like, everyone's dream is to be the best and be one of the first picks in the draft, but then you also have the dream of like going to a really good team. So I think it worked out for him, and like he looked really sad before, but the moment when he got his name called for the Pats, priceless.
Yeah, I'm happy. I thought he was going number 3. All the reports were saying he was going number 3. Even Shanahan, like he said, they intended to draft up for Mac Jones, and then as they looked at more tape, Trey Lance kind of took over as what he wanted to go with, or the route he wanted to go with.
I think we think.
Oh no, go ahead.
I think we both thought that he would have gone in the top 10. Like I think a lot of people were surprised. Like he didn't fall as far as I thought he was going to. I thought he was just going to keep going. I thought he wasn't going to go until like maybe the end of the round after the 10. But then, the Pats came in and swooped him. So good for them.
Yeah.
Were there any other Pats players you wanted to talk about?
Oh no, I could not care less about any of the get rest because normally they don't stick around. Because normally like Belichick builds through veteran players. Now, the running back from Oklahoma, Stevenson, he looks interesting. The New England Patriots did just decline the 5th-year option on Sony Michel, who was our previous running back that we drafted in 2018 from Alabama as well. Yeah, Alabama as well.
A lot of Alabama players. You had
Nick Saban.
2 in the draft this year. Yeah,
Nick Saban, and he was kind of like our tough running back. He was the one that was going to grind out the 1 yard, 2 yard, third down conversions, and it didn't really pan out. Like he didn't live up to all the hype. Nothing against him. He did do very well in quite a few playoff games. But I can see why we didn't pick up his 5th-year option, and it makes more sense that we picked up Stevenson over the weekend. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of defensive players.
Yeah.
You always need them in your pipeline. They'll turn into someone, I'm sure. I can almost guarantee you the defensive tackle is going to turn into some sudden all-pro, but that's because Belichick's bread and butter is defensive tackles. He is the line. He makes sure that line is solid. He does not like getting beat by the run.
No.
I mean,
we have other Chiefs players that were drafted in addition to Cornell Powell, because he was the last one we drafted.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Arguably the one I'm most excited about. I mean, we've had a few late round draft picks for the Chiefs that have worked out really well. So they know what they're doing. I think that, you didn't have to trade like you went 181. Like they could have easily waited for Cornell Powell to come around to them, and they did. So I was really happy with that. We filled a couple holes, which is good. We got this linebacker from Missouri. I'm really excited to see Nick Bolton play for the Chiefs. He's a big guy. I haven't seen much of his tapes, but watching him like on the draft, I was like, I am excited for you. Yes, come to us. And then we got a new center, Creed Humphreys. Someone's gonna be snapping the ball to Patrick Mahomes. So I think he's gonna be a good fit from what I've seen from him. We have a defensive end. I can't say his name, but he's from Florida State. And then the other one I'm really excited for, the last guy we drafted here was Noah Gray, the tight end from Duke. He's definitely not someone that could replace Travis Kelce, but he is definitely someone that he can learn from Travis Kelce, and he's going to be a great 2-3 tight end. I think he would be number 2. But yeah, I think he's just, just another big guy on the field, because Clemson, the Chiefs have, we have a lot of tiny players. So especially offensively. So I think adding Noah Gray is a great addition. So I'm really excited. Like I'm actually really happy with all of the Chiefs picks this year. I am happy that we ended up picking up a wide receiver, and I'm even more happy that it's Cornell Powell from Clemson. So I'm really happy to see another familiar face on our team. And then the last thing I wanted to note about the draft this year was we had a lot of teams pick up some college teammates that are reuniting. So we mentioned a few of them, but we'll run them down again. So you have Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne from Clemson, both going to Jacksonville, both picked up in this draft. Tua, who was the quarterback for Alabama last year, so he was picked up in the 2020 draft. And Jalen was picked up this year. Jalen Waddle, both going to Miami, both from Alabama. Joe Burrow, who went to the Bengals last year, is now being joined by Jamar Chase, both from LSU. That's going to be really exciting. Like you said, as long as they can stay protected. And then we have Jalen Hurts, who was drafted last year to the Eagles, getting joined up again with Smith, both from Alabama. That's another power couple there as well. So I think it's really interesting that they've been starting, like we're seeing a lot more of college teammates being reunited in the NFL, and I think it's really fun to see that.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to become a trend because, like, recently,
some package deals.
Well, it just feels like over the draft, the last 4 or 5 years, the athleticism on all these players is just becoming so unbelievable, and a lot of these.
Look at the people they looked up to. It makes sense that because they have to be better than the guys that are in this league.
Well, it's not even that. I'm not even going with that angle. It's more just there's more available in terms of medical science, like sports science.
Okay.
So you have players now that have put on so much weight and can carry so much weight. 10, 15 years ago, you put on that much muscle on a running back and they're going to snap their ACL. But we've come far enough in research that we can, as a researcher, I can kind of recommend specific supplements or specific foods that you will eat that are still within legal, like things you are allowed to take according to the NFL. And it's just slowly these athletes are already physically all there. They are ready to play, especially first round draft players are ready to play that year. And
they're fresh, they're ready, right? Like
exactly.
I said, they have a lot of protective rules in college. So like you don't see as many injuries as you do in the NFL. And that's mostly because of the rules. So like, yeah, a lot of these people are fresh and ready to go.
Yeah. So I think like my point would be, now that you have the athlete already there, why not start picking up players that have played together so that now your team's even that further ahead? Imagine having a quarterback who has his safety net already there. Like, I get you want to put them out of their comfort zones. I can't imagine how great it's going to feel to Trevor Lawrence when he is going up on maybe his first major third down conversion, and maybe all he has to do is look into his backfield and see Etienne there. Okay, we've done this 1,000 times before in practice in college, moving up through reps and all the off seasons and getting ready for the draft. There's a level of comfort now. Like, I just thought it spoke volumes that you had Joe Burrow going up to his coach and GM and convincing them to go choose Jamar Chase. He explicitly was asking for his wide receiver. And I'm just like, okay, so that's your comfort. You have your comfort. And the fact that his coaches and GMs and the team decided, okay, we'll go for who our quarterback's asking for over what we necessarily need. Now,
we don't know what they've been working in the offseason either.
Exactly.
We don't know if they've just been working with the players that they have to make sure that they can get the protection he needs. And if they can do that, then they can take the chance on getting Jamar Chase.
And also, like the way I speak about it, seems like choosing Jamar Chase was a bonehead move. By no means. This player is a top 10 player for sure. It was just, Joe Burrow needs to be protected, and their offense or their O-line did not do a good job at all. So I'm super intrigued to see where this is going to go. if this will become more and more of a trend for
Yeah, I think
college
we'll see
teammates to be
more.
reunited.
I think we'll see more of that for sure. I'm just really excited to see all of these guys now that they've gotten their teams and they can start working. You know, Trevor Lawrence, like the next day, went to
Yeah,
Jacksonville.
I saw a
Murals
bunch of
are
them
already
popping
up.
up.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
promo's been going crazy for it. They're very excited to get him. But I guess on that note, we'll wrap that up there. That's all the time we have for today's episode.
No more
Thank
football or until September or August technically. I'm sad.
Yeah, that was, that I get so excited for the draft, and then I'm like, ugh, they just sit here and wait until August again for preseason. But
Now to wait.
there'll be more. We'll see. There's, free agency still open, so we'll see what happens. I'm sure there'll be more to talk about as things go on. But I just want to take a moment and say thank you again to everyone for all your support, watching our videos, commenting, liking, sharing it on social media. It means a lot to us. So we just want to say thank you so much to our fans, friends, and family who have been supporting us. We love you
Thank
guys.
you.
And, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share, let everyone know about us. Every Wednesday, we will be here. And next Wednesday, we have a special guest joining us next week. Before that, I wanted to say we are still trying to get ourselves on Spotify. We're still waiting for them to review the podcast, but we should be on Spotify soon. So keep your eyes out there. But like I was saying, we do have a special guest joining us next week. It's my buddy Spencer, a good buddy of mine from university. He is a big LSU Pats fan, Tom Brady fan. I'm sure Milton's very happy about that. I don't know how I'm going to feel about being on a episode with two Pats fans. But we'll see how that goes next week. Yeah, I'm screwed. I'm just going to sit here and be quiet. But
it's for the best.
Next week, we are going to talk about some sports gambling. I'm not a big sports gambler, so it's going to be a bit of a crash course for me. I know Milton's big on the gambling and all aspects of sports, and I know Spencer's really into the sports gambling as well. So we'll go into a little bit of a crash course into that, and then we're also going to dive into the legalities of sports betting and using sports betting apps. So if that's something you've been interested in or something you want to learn a little bit more about, tune in next Wednesday. So we'll see you then, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye, friends.
Listen in to Primetime Dimes every Wednesday for your latest on football.